We're rolling, yeah. Hi, Ken.
Hi. So, if you just introduce yourself and tell us who you are.
Thanks, Mark. Hi, my name is Ken MacLeod. I'm a science fiction writer. I've written about a dozen novels, several shorter works. I actually started writing seriously in 1987 when I started writing my very first novel. I started that because I finished, finally after many years, I'd finished a postgraduate thesis. And I realised that I had paid my debt to society, and B, I had actually written a book which had a print run of 12, but it was a book.
Right.
And so I knew I could write something on that kind of scale. Also, Ian Banks had got very bored, I found out, from hearing from me about all the great ideas I had for novels.
Yeah.
He wanted me to do something. So, in order to demonstrate to myself and to Ian that I could write a novel, I started my first novel with Star Fraction and wrote the first draft of it several years and then rewrote it.
Yeah. Alright. How do you know Ian Banks? You're from the same place or?
More or less, yeah. We met in high school in Greenock in Scotland. We're both interested in literature and in science fiction and so on. We got to know each other, slowly became friends, yeah.
What have been your main influences in science fiction? Who do you look up to as well? So.
Well, apart from Ian, their main influence is actually, I suppose, the big one that looms on a lot of science fiction writers, particularly of my generation, which is quite an old generation now, would be people like Robert Heinlein, people like Brian Aldiss, Isaac Asimov, but more recently, more recent big names, there would be John Brunner, Ursula Le Guin. They affected me quite deeply when I was reading them in my teens and 20s. And again, more recently, the whole explosion of cyberpunk and post-90s SF. Kim Stanley Robinson, William Gibson, lots more. My most recent novel was called The Restoration Game, and it's shortly out in paperback in April of 2010. The one I'm working on at the moment is provisionally called Synbio, Sinbio, and it's about the ethics, I suppose, of genetic medicine, the ethics of individual conscience versus, or even just individual whim or will against various kinds of social pressures. So that's what it's about. It's an attempt in a way to write a mainstream novel, but set in a possible near future. That's how I would say it.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else you'd like to add or to say to your fans?
What I'd like to say to my fans is keep buying the books, or at least keep reading them. If you can't buy them, if you can't afford to buy them, at least read them. Take them out the library, pass them around in paperback, it all helps. And keep watching Mark's YouTube channel, because he's a young man with a great future in front of him.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.